So I am working on my off-grid studio here, and I went with a ridge pole and rafters. I did not go with trusses because I wanted a little more room inside as far as ceiling height goes. Now I've got my collar ties in right here. I've got my ridge vent on, and I've got my soffit vents in. And so the insulation, these are 2-foot centers, insulation is going to go here. But, first, you know what I should do? I should show you the ridge vent real quick. Well, the inside part. Let me show you something before I get too far. Okay, so here is my ridge. I got about 1.5 inch gap on each side, so it's about 3 inches total. And I put my ridge cap on already. But before I put the ridge cap on, now I've seen a lot of people do videos on these, and they just put that plastic ridge cap on, and then they put their shingles on. You know, they nail it down, then put their shingles on top. But here's the deal: if you do that, there's gaps along the side of the ridge cap. I'll show you a video and I'll point to it. But where bees and all kinds of bugs and stuff can get in. So what you want to make sure that you do is you want to put the screening on top of it before you put that ridge vent down. So what I did was I took this screen right here. It's 6 inches. And I laid this across the ridge, and then I tacked it down really well along the sides of it. So this goes down just like this across the ridge, and then I just tacked it really well on each side. And that prevents, this is an 1/8 inch mesh. So this is going to keep bees and all kinds of bugs out of there. Of course, it won't keep out like fungus gnats and stuff like that, but they're not a nuisance up in the attic or up in the crawl space. Now this here doesn't even have a crawl space, but it doesn't matter which size of a building you have. You want to make sure that you put that screening across the top. Okay, so this is my ridge cap. Now, this is what I was talking about, this edge here. So a lot of people will just put these down. This is the ridge cap vent here. So they'll put these down without putting any screen underneath it. And what'll happen is bees can get in right here and easily go into your attic and build a nest. So you want to make sure that you put that screening down before you put this ridge cap on. So now when I did the soffit vents, I made sure that there's venting between each rafter. And the total square inches of the ridge vent has to equal the total square inches of the soffit vent. You don't want to have more soffit vent than you do ridge vent, because then the air won't flow up. It'll just circulate inside right there, and then it won't escape. So you want to make sure that the air can flow all the way up from the soffit vent all the way up and out the ridge vent. So these are the soffit vents here. I actually straddled the 2x rafters across like this. So this hits one side and then the other side. And I've done that across each of these. So my vent total is the same as the vent on the ridge. So the air has to come in the soffit vent, has to travel up, and it has to go out the ridge vent. Now if you just put your insulation in like this, right, and then you tack it in, that's going to stop the airflow. So what you do is you use these rafter vents, and what they do is, see, they've got these knobs here protruding like this, see? And then what you do is you can put these up like this, and you tack these in, and what that allows the air to flow on top right here. So the air is going to come right up here like that, and you want to make sure that you get it up past your insulation, and then the air can flow out. So, okay, so let me show you here. I cut one of them just about in half and then slid it down here underneath this one. So it's 1.5, because my insulation is going to come up here, it's going to come across here onto my collar ties. And so wherever the insulation is touching the OSB, I want to make sure that there is this venting behind it. So the insulation is going to come right about here, and then it'll go that way. So there'll be no insulation up here. But yeah, you want to make sure anywhere the insulation is going to be touching the OSB, you've got to have this venting behind it. So, and these things are they're just foam. So they're really easy to cut. So I had a full piece, then a half a piece. And they're really easy to tack down. Now as far as how far down here to go, the insulation is just going to be going right to just past this the 2x4 here. So I'm just going a few inches past it just to make sure the insulation doesn't come out and block this. I've seen some people just go ahead and cut like a perforation and then fold it down and then tack it in. You can do that too. But the insulation is going to be tacked in, so it's not going to be sliding and going past it. So the insulation will stop here. The venting starts way back here, so we're good to go. Now I've seen also some people get kind of tweaky and they say that this upper piece should be behind this one, because if there's any moisture that it would flow through here. If this one was on top, the moisture could get underneath. But I mean, I just do it this way just in case. But the deal is, if you've got so much moisture in there that water is running down, then you've got ventilation problems. So yeah, it's probably a good idea to do it that way. So, yeah, very easy to do, simple concept. No matter how big your building is, it's the absolute same concept. And it's just a matter of getting that airflow from the soffits through, behind the insulation and up out your ridge. Piece of cake, easy peasy. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll catch you later.